speak moron as well as you, but let me try.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
It's a moron. That's not against the law.
Gun! You fucking moron!
Stuff like Batman.
Because he is Batman, you moron.
What are you, a fucking moron?
You moron. Drop dead. Moron.
Whoa!
Up here, you morons.
Stepping morons like yourself.
Me down, you moron! Hey, moron!
It's like the best thing in the world. I didn't have to go to the shop, just get my Morrison's delivery every day. But little shandy stubbies. Look at the alcohol content, 0.5.
Was that? I think have they improved your memory recollection since the other night?
Do you know what, I don't know what it is, and I know we're laughing about it in the chat the other day, but fuck me, my memory is shocking these days.
It's when Kel says he orders Morrison's every day, but he forgets he ordered it the day
See, at
before.
first I thought you were genuinely not trolling, but
every night.
I never thought you were at the point we'd forgot that we were watching the fucking Scotland against England in a major tournament.
Absolutely the idea. When we're talking, me and Kate were talking about the football, and he was like, Scotland, I was like, oh, fucking 1998, the last time we were in a major tournament, like, nothing. And then he obviously just took what I said as gospel, and then...
But then I was like, Caden's not even that young, he should remember Scotland winning a major tournament 18 months ago.
He's definitely just no said anything, because I've said that it never happened. But I get stick in the house all the time for telling the same stories constantly, because I forget that I've told them, and like genuinely to me it's the first time I'm telling them. And you caught me for it the other week on the podcast when I started telling about my speech impediment, trying to say stuff, and you were like, Kyle, you literally just told us that like 2 weeks ago. And do you know what's even funnier? I listened back to the episodes and I still didn't remember that we had spoken about this.
It's mad. See, about every maybe 3 or 4 episodes, you chin Hunter for picking Capone, as if it was the first time you've ever said it. Aye, but you've done it about 10 times since we started the podcast. It's funny.
Well, do you know what, the big thing that stood out to me recently? I was away with work and I was staying at a hotel, and I went down for breakfast on the first day that I was there, and they asked you when you go in, like, what's your room number? And I just stared at the wife blank, and I was like, no idea. And she was like, what floor are you on? I was like, I don't know. And she was just asking me a question, and I was like, honestly, I don't know. I says to her, I think I'm on the 3rd floor, if that helps. And she's got the paperwork, and she's like got fucking hundreds and hundreds of numbers on this paper. And I'm like, I don't know. I said, I can give you my name. That's kind of the best I can do for you. And I was like, I think I could retrace my steps, so I think I could walk back to my room, but I don't know what the number is. And I was like, I can't even... She's like, can you picture it? And I'm like, nah.
It's as if you're in a room, like a hotel where each floor and room is individual.
You've been concussed for a year, Kel. That's what's happened.
Do you know what it is? I had to phone my boss, who was in the room across from me, to ask him what my room number was so I could get seated for breakfast. And there was... The irony is, there was something else that happened that day that made me think that I've got problems with my memory, but I can't even remember what it was. There was something else that stood out to me, because I was like, that's 2 big things. I remember phoning Sarah and saying, like, I don't know, is this a problem? Should I get this looked at? Like, I can't remember what that second one was.
You told the same story when you went in that night too, and she was like, oh, they told me this. Probably.
That was like memory loss inception. Like you've forgotten about something that you'd forgotten about.
Lost
I know,
memory,
but you know, funny,
memory, that's it.
I know that 2 things happened that day because it stood out to me, but I now can't remember what the second one was.
You need to see a doctor.
Oh.
Fuck that. It'll be fine. I'll forget about it tomorrow.
I feel like this is where we should segue into like an advert for like better help or something like that.
Do you know what? See, think of it. It makes sense.
In Kyle's case.
It makes sense. Like, I sat down the other day there and put Moneyball on. How many times have I told you I've watched Moneyball?
Aye, all the time.
Moneyball's actually trending in our chat. It's been mentioned that much.
But every time you watch it, you can't remember what's happened.
In the last episode, you'd forgotten whether you liked a film or not with Knives Out.
Aye. There you go.
And he made up some excuse at how he...
Everything's just swung on emotion to me. So I just swung on emotion, how I felt in that moment. But anyway, let's talk about a new movie, a different movie. Welcome in. Thank you very much for listening to this blabbering on. I'll forget about that in a minute. This week's movie is The Shape of Water. At a top research facility in the 1960s, a lonely janitor forms a unique relationship with an amphibious creature that has been held in captivity. Now, this movie absolutely screams to me as something that Burnsy would absolutely love. So I feel like we should come to Burnsy first of all for this film and get his thoughts.
Well, I wish I was you and I'd forgot that I watched this film, to be honest. So that would be a good start. Yeah, it's definitely not a film for me. But I was actually surprised I stuck with it. But I think that's maybe because the girls are mute, so then you kind of have to stick with it to understand what's going on. Because like if there was like loads of dialogue going on, then I could imagine I would have just been looking about on my phone, not paying attention. Whereas it does make you have to pay more attention to the film. Yeah, it's like once I knew it was going to be a creature and some weird love story, my heart sank. It wasn't, as I say, it wasn't enjoyable at all, but it's not on par with any stuff we've watched before, like Justice League or anything like that, which was mentioned last week or this week, can't remember. But yeah, it's the love story is just far too weird. Like that just didn't sit well with me whatsoever. It's just too random. I guess that one of the things I wanted to ask was like as well. So, is it Eliza? Her name is the woman.
Mhm.
So when the creature disappears out the house,
Yes.
does she just go down to the cinema, just sitting there watching a film by pure chance that's the first place she looked, he's just sitting there enjoying himself? Or did I
They're
miss
above.
that?
They live above the cinema.
No, I know. But obviously she just leaves the house, goes down the stair, and then he's there sitting there.
I don't know. I think she has to exit through the cinema because there's a bit at the start of the film where she's got to work and the guy comes across who runs the cinema, says, "Oh, Eliza, I've got tickets for you. Please come," and whatever. So I think she maybe needs.
Right.
Her exit must be like a side bit of the cinema. So I think she's thought, "Oh, there's a big open space. I'll just go check in there."
I'm sure there was also like a clue that everybody's scales were like coming off.
You sitting in a different room to your phone,
Can you
Daniel?
speak up a wee bit, please?
I don't know what I've done. Hold on.
Daniel's in the cinema.
You're now on mute, so we can hear you even less now.
How's that?
That's worse. I'll just keep going and then you can speak in a wee bit, Daniel.
You sound like you've connected to like.
I think I heard what you said, that she followed. Oh, he's left. I think he did say that. I think she followed the scales that were falling off his back.
Oh right, okay. I never realised that bit, to be fair. So that makes a bit more sense then. It still doesn't make it a good film, but the eating of the cat, that was vile as well. Like what's the need for that? I can't understand why anyone would really like this film. Like, I would beg or belief that one of you came in and said this is like class or whatever. The actual when they're getting the creature out of wherever it's kept, I can't remember what you would call it. It's obviously in the work it's kept. Is I did sort of quite like how there was all that how they were trying to sneak him away, but then the stuff that like filling the bathroom up with water, and the ending was okay, I guess, but it just looked as if somebody it's one of these films that to me somebody's just like got these ideas, just flung shite at the wall, and that's what's came out, and I'm still confused to what on earth this was. Like it's meant to be a romantic
Nights Out here.
No, definitely not. This is. Kel mentioned last week that some film lines that he liked this and didn't like Glass Onion. That just beggars. I've no words for that.
Well, I'll jump in and tell you right now, Birdsey, that I thought this was class.
For fuck's sake, you would.
Just after you say that nobody's going to say this was class.
I meant like with you though. You're a different species.
amphibious creature that may enjoy this. I honestly struggle to see why people don't like this. I think knowing that it's Del Toro that's directed it, my mind was a lot more open than what it is for some other movies.
Have we watched another of his films in here?
Pan's Labyrinth.
That's what it was.
So I knew this was going to be funky, right? But went in very open-minded to watching this, and I thought it was just really good. The acting in it was excellent. I thought that Eliza was brilliant. Michael Shannon's probably one of my favourite actors, and purely because I'm watching Boardwalk Empire as well.
You just stole my point I was going to make too.
Oh, he's absolutely fantastic in this.
Yeah.
Like, he plays his part amazing. He's an absolute creep, but he's a power play. I just feel that the interactions that he has with the cleaners right the way through it is brilliant. For like, standing with his hands on his hips, taking a slash and refusing to wash his hands. What made me chuckle is the fact that he said that some people wash their hands before they go to the toilet, but no after.
Yeah, that was.
Well, you can tell this was
something hidden there.
You can tell this film was set before COVID when he's washed his hands. He's not washed them twice anyway.
But no, really good movie. I think it is a good love story, right? And obviously, the question for everybody is: when did you all clock on that she was the same type of creature as what the guy in the water is?
Well, I with the scars on the neck, very clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Did you clock that early enough, Burnsy?
Not really early, but eventually I did.
I thought that he just somehow turned her into that at the end.
No,
but obviously she's got the scars on her neck, and it's also alluded that she was an orphan that was just found alive by a river.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And she can't. Yeah, she can't speak either.
Yeah.
I know that.
And they both like eggs as well. That's what they seem to eat.
So when he first arrives at the facility, like she's like in the room cleaning, and she puts her hand on the cage, and he's like reaching out to touch it. There was obviously instant attraction because they were of some sort of similar species.
She was so drawn to him as well.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, I will say the scene where they filled the room up with water, I was thinking, how achievable is that? Like, how practical would that actually happen? But again, I know it's to show you the fact that they're going to live under that water. They're going to have their romantic time within the water. That was a bit far-fetched for me. But I do think that when Richard Jenkins' characters, or I think it was Giles, the gay artist, him the whole way through it was brilliant. He was probably my favourite character. Maybe challenging alongside Michael Shannon for that.
He was very good.
He was.
I want Sean to go before.
I will just say as well, Kel, it's like the one thing I didn't mention is like, obviously I said how I didn't enjoy the film, but like you said, it's like I don't think it was acted it was acted well in that. Like all that, it was just more the fact it's like the actual script itself was just far too random and bizarre for me.
But it is a weird film, right? And we've had loads of these that we've watched through doing this, and Pan's Labyrinth is wildly out there as well. And this is just in that category of out there films there. You just have to have an open imagination with it and not take it too literal or too seriously. And I just feel that I didn't have a problem with any character in it. I felt that the storyline was quite easy to understand. There wasn't any real big twists or turns that you needed to worry about in it. I just feel like it was one of the few movies where I sat down knowing FIFA, Football Manager, knowing my phone or anything. I just sat and watched the film the whole way through, and really, really enjoyed it.
Right, I can't believe we've had the majority of us on, and there's two major elephants in the room that I need to discuss. First of all, there's the egg-timed danger wank.
Yes.
And then second of all, the Swiss cuckoo cock.
What?
I just know what you meant
there. Very weird.
Oh, aye, sorry, aye.
Just before we forget, Egg Time or Danger Wank. Egg Timed Danger Wank is definitely the name of the podcast.
This is the first time in a film I think I've actually wrote a note, and the only note I wrote was Egg Time Danger Wank.
I haven't right at the very start. I totally forgot about it. Are we underwater wank?
Aye, and the fact that she wanks underwater is another early sign, I suppose.
Yes.
Starts off with a set of bangers, though. The films, you know, you're into a good film, and there's a set of bangers at the start.
Aye, there was a vagina within the first 5 minutes of this movie.
I know.
That's why you know it's Oscar season, eh?
It was like watching Alan Partridge narrate the opening scene to that James Bond film. Like, ooh, little bit of bush.
I want you to go before me, Sean, so I want to hear your thoughts because I've got a feeling they're going to be scathing, and I've got a feeling you're doing it mostly in revenge for last week.
Oh, there's actually this is nothing to do with revenge here at all. What happened last week? What was last week like?
That's all.
10 minutes ago.
Oh, right. Right. That's absolutely nothing to do with that. This was just a pile of shit. Obviously, I didn't click on. I'm not smart enough to click on that she was always an amphibious freak as well. I just thought that because she was classed as he's turned her into it at the end when he saved her life after she got shot. So that's just like the main theme throughout this film for me was bestiality. Obviously, I never knew that she was the same as him, but I just found it weird that we were sitting watching this amphibious thing basically shagging a human, and I just found it really bizarre. You were talking about the masturbation scene in the first 5 minutes. What's the need for that?
To show that she's sexually aroused by water.
That's just another pervert director who's wanting a woman to get her clothes off and perform a sexual act in a bath. That doesn't add to the story at all or anything like that. Or you can maybe say it's a hint towards her being at one with water or whatever way you want to put it. But I just put it down to seediness, if I'm honest, and these Hollywood directors have too much power.
Sean saying pervert director. I want to know what his initial thoughts would be on Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, suggesting it's the same the director knows what Pinocchio does when he lies. Does Sean think happens in that film?
I just thought this was absolute dog shit. I really did. And I checked after it to see it. And this won Best Picture at the Oscars.
Yes.
Fucking... you see films that win Best Pictures at the Oscars, once in a while there seems to be like a really, really good one. Then the rest of the time it's like just unknown shit that doesn't seem to be like big money makers or anything like that. It's just shite. It's this... What's the thing that I used to say? Like artsy. See these artsy fuckers that think that this is a piece of art. This is amazing. No, it's absolutely shit. It's an amphibious creature that doesn't talk. There's the main character with a woman who doesn't talk as the other main character. She's managed to mastermind a breakout of this creature with her cleaner pal and 2 other guys. And they initially thought there was like the main bad guy was initially convinced that there was like an army of 10 that managed to do this. So this mute, right, has managed to break out an amphibious being from a high security dungeon, whatever you want to call it, a high security base. It's just so stupid. And I know that you're meant to kind of suspend your, like just put your real mind and want it to the, but I can't even get my words out. I'm that fucking disgusted by this piece of shit. But I know you mean suspend your belief and all that when you're watching this, but I hate fantasy films. It's very well documented. Any fantasy film watched, I've absolutely caned. I hate it. I fucking hated Pan's Labyrinth, and I fucking hate this with a passion. And I vowed to never watch another one of his films ever again because they're all nonsense. And I hate Blade 2 as well. And I know that he was involved in Blade 2. I just cannot. This is just nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. I hate it with a passion. I don't ever want to watch another film like this again. I'm sick to the back teeth.
I'm all just add on.
You really feel.
This was something I did mention in our chat before I watched it, and I said this screams to me, which is what Sean just said. It's a film which people say they like just because it's going off.
Exactly. This is there's far too many films. There's far too many films like this where it's like, I can imagine that, like, there's this club in Hollywood where it's like this artsy club where they'll stand and they'll look at a painting and it's just a white painting. Like, my wall's white art, right? It's no, I don't hang that in the Louvre, right? It's no fucking art. It's just the majority of art is bullshit for a start. Right? The Mona Lisa isn't even a good painting. Let's be honest. It was in the last film we watched. It's fucking. It's blurry. It's terrible. Art is just a load of shit. It is a load of shit. Art right, is like music, stuff like that. No paintings, no fucking fantasy films about fucking amphibious creatures. And
music is not art. Fuck off.
See for the majority of the film, right? I was waiting on fucking Captain America to turn up. I feel like I was watching a Marvel film with this fucking creature thing in it. That's what it looked like. I was waiting on the Avengers coming in.
I think you're overthinking the artsiness of this. Like, it was mostly like a breakout movie with a bit of a love story in the background. Obviously, you didn't pick up that they were the same species, which probably made it seem like a bestiality movie.
I was sitting thinking, this is like... Cause I actually had it in my head. Kyle has banged on and on about Back to the Future and how the mother-son thing. So if he liked that, I was going to proper go in on him, or you're a beast, you like bestiality and all that. But I can't anyway because it's no. So you got away with it.
You just didn't understand it. To me, it was like the only just to go back a bit in the sort of bit you didn't like about the escape. The only way they got away with it was because there was a inside man for the Russian, a Russian special forces guy that let them out. So like that's why they thought there was multiple people, because they would have failed if they tried to do it on their own. But there was an inside man that was working on the other side that helped her do it. So I feel like you just missed loads of parts of this film because you were angry at the fact that you thought it was too artsy. Because it's not that artsy a film. Like, Michael Shannon's just like an evil cunt. Apart from the fact that there's a weird sex dynamic, it's mostly just like an escape movie. Like a chasing, Michael Shannon's a bad guy chasing them, escaping. A bit like E.T. Like E.T. the extraterrestrials, had to get him away from the bad guys to save him, get him back to his like Free Willy. It's a bit like Free Willy. I think you're really not thinking it, Sean. It's just a bit of I don't know. There's a wee artsy bits in it. Like, obviously, Kyle was talking about the room filling up with the water and all that. But mostly, I didn't think it was very artsy at all. If anything, I thought it didn't really do much of the Guillermo del Toro fantasy side of stuff. Because, like you mentioned, we watched Pan's Labyrinth. That is like full on fantasy. This has just got like a weird creature. I don't think it's too wildly out there. But on that, I'm a bit like Kyle. I fairly enjoyed this. I thought it was weird. I thought it was a bit... I never really saw it as like an Oscar-worthy feeling movie, but I did enjoy watching it. It kept me intrigued. I think, like Bonzi mentioned, the fact that she didn't speak was quite a good thing. It did make me pay attention all the way through it. And like was mentioned, anytime Michael Shannon's on screen, I'm all in. He's one of the best guys at playing a creepy fucking weirdo. Like, and see what I thought was really cool, because there are little artsy bits in it, right? So do you notice that his hand was deteriorating and his fingers were deteriorating?
I thought he was going to turn into one of them by the end when I seen his hand deteriorating through the course of the film.
Oh, was that what you were thinking? Well, what I was thinking was his fingers were deteriorating at the same rate as his mind. He was like losing control, like all the way through it, and the fingers were like the visual representation of his mind.
It's essentially like Aquaman or Amphibious Man, whatever it's called. So he's affected him some way, like because he's a bad guy. So it's rotting him from the inside. Obviously, with Giles, he's scarred on, but he's been affected the other way.
No, that wasn't what I meant, but that's quite interesting what you just said. But that wasn't what I was meaning. I just mean that, like, for a film point of view, that was like your visual way of seeing him going mental as his fingers like deteriorated. He was actually losing his mind as he went along.
Has anyone went and asked their significant other if they can go and buy a car?
What?
The scene when he asks his wife if he can buy a car, what's the first thing that she does?
Shags him? Is that right?
We just whips a tit out for him to hold.
Aye.
And he gets a coffee anyway. The boy's mad at winning at life.
Oh, it was weird. His relationship was weird with him and his wife. Like,
that sex scene though, where like his hand's total bleeding and she's trying to tell him, he just covers her face up with it. I'm like, oh, that was a bit grim.
Yeah.
Right, you put going by the context of the film, he's only conversed with Eliza that one time on that day. Now he's back muting his wife whilst pumping her.
No, he did converse another time, and he was as if he was going to like try and shag her tea in his office.
He was definitely laying there.
That's what I mean. He's I don't know, obviously because it's came out then at the Aquaman Amphibious Man as a god. I wonder if she's like the female, like, so she's maybe got an aura around her, like, which is why a pal is like, she must have like maybe an aura around about her that maybe he was just attracted to her because she is of the same species and is a goddess.
Maybe.
Could have got Sean's bestiality then if that happened.
Another thing as well about this was that I thought, see how that they've done because I knew nothing about this before I started watching it, right? And I quite like when we do that because, especially with really strange films like this. But it just seemed, I feel like I could have done with a wee bit more about, is there more of these things? Like, how did they come about getting it? And I feel like I'm contradicting myself, right? Because 99% of the time I'm on here arguing against that sort of stuff. And I don't need to see the background. But see, with this, I don't know, I could have done with a little bit of, like, them getting him in the Amazon. Maybe just seeing her getting found as a baby, like, next to the river. Just a wee bits of something. I don't know. It felt like it was missing a little bit to make me care when they got back into the water. Like, when they escaped into the sea, it didn't feel like a homecoming as much. But that's me being pernickety. I thought it was pretty good. Like, I feel like Sean's really just looked at it with a preconceived idea that it was an art film and just made it too complicated in his own mind.
That was the preconceived. That's just the way I felt when I was watching it. I didn't read anything about it apart from it was a creature. What's it called?
Amphibian.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only thing I'd read about it. I didn't know it was it was involving a breakout or anything else. I just seen that there was an amphibious creature in it.
Instantly deterred from it when I seen that.
Well, like as I said earlier on, that kind of like fantasy kind of film stuff, it's not my type. So it's going to need to be really, really, really good for me to like it. That's just my taste, I suppose.
Sean hates fantasy unless it's a time traveling car. No. Hunter, let's get some of your thoughts in there before me and Sean start arguing.
I feel like I'm just coming in riding the dovetails of the Dunter Alliance here, but again, my conception going into this was I was very much, if you've asked me before watching this what side of these two reviews I would have been on, I thought I would have been on the same side as Sean and Bumsy. And what I would say is, when it comes to artsy, this is absolutely nowhere near the levels of The Lighthouse, which is still one of the fucking worst things we've ever watched. But this pulled me in and intrigued me in a way. I had written this film off, and the minute I seen it won an Oscars without even watching a second of it, I was like, why the fuck is that one? I would never watch that film in a million years. I was fucking hooked, like, for watching it. I was like, I'd never expect to be drawn in. I don't know if it was like Bumsy said, with Eliza being a mute, that you're, what's she saying? How's she conversing? Like, how does this work? And then when she comes in, and then, as you said, all the little crumbs, everything start lining up, the dots start lining up. And this film made you think and acknowledge the storyline, for me anyway, a lot more than what we watched last week. I felt this caught me in and kept me, there was enough along the way to keep me interested and intrigued. Michael Shannon, as we've said, is again, he just, that role, he's just got nailed on. He's the professional guy, but he's also got that seedy, creepy side, and he just nails that down to an absolute tier. Again, I think, you see, I don't want to typecast people, but see, when someone's as good, I think just let them just excel at it, and he's definitely one of those actors for me. And then also on the Boardwalk Empire spots, the Russian spy is the Jewish bookmaker, I believe, as well in Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah, that's Rothstein.
Yep. So again, I was like, oh, I need to go back and watch that when I've seen his face on my to-do list for so long. But again, this, I would say, like, this is probably the film that we've watched that has probably switched my mind around the most from preconceived to actually going in and what I got out at the end of it. I just never expected. I'm not saying it's a 4, 5, whatever it is, but whatever my going in score was is completely polarised to what I might score at come the end of it. And again, it's regardless of the fucking jokes I made earlier on, but this was a film that it's such a weird thing. Although I might score it quite well, I know the people that to it's not one I would just go and recommend to anyone.
Yeah.
But people would enjoy it. I was texting Laura last night. She was like, "What's the basic synopsis? Who's in it?" Again, she's kind of wanting those basics. Can I get in? Can I go and watch it? It's like, well, that sounds like shite. It's like, it is because I'm just giving you the basics. But I know there are some people that. But the thing is, the people that I would maybe then go and explain it to have probably already seen it because, again, I'm not saying it's an artsy or you're looking for it. There's just something about it pulled me in, and I can't explain what that was. Maybe I'm amphibious too. Maybe that's what it was.
Hunter the Amphibian. I definitely avoided this as well. We've had like 4 or 5 years to watch this, and I picked this as my unseen because I've actively avoided it because it looks shite. It really does look shite. The premise looks shite.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what I mean. I explained this to Laura last night. What's the synopsis? Who's in it? So I've sent her the synopsis, sent her the cast. Went, that looks like shite. And I was like, that was my feeling for years. That won best Oscar, best picture at the Oscars that year. But the thing is, it never won so many other awards on top of it. And again, I don't know, something what Sean said wasn't one of those films that was picked because I can understand Sean's point there because usually when a film's got so much credence and picks up so many awards, like especially that it then cleans up elsewhere. This film didn't seem to do that, but there is something about it that does draw you in, is what I'm saying.
Did it not win any other Oscars? You checked, Kyle?
I think it did win a few more, but what I'm talking about when a film of that, I mean, like none of the actors and actresses they never won Golden Globes or like sort of. Kyle's probably got to, but what I noticed was it didn't clean up the way I expected it to when I seen the amount of nominations to awards.
Okay, got you.
Well, it's got here 4 Oscar wins with Best Achievement in Directing, Best Motion Picture, Best Achievement in Music Written for motion pictures, and Best Achievement in Production Design. Nominated for Best Actress in Lead-In, Best Actress in Supporting, Best Actor in Supporting. Nominated for about another 6 or 7 things on top of that as well. It did win 2 at the BAFTAs, 3 at the BAFTAs, sorry. Nominated for plenty, nominated for a few Screen Actors Guild Awards, but there is a lot there.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of nominations, but I was expecting a clean up by the time that I was like, why? I thought like some of the performances from Eliza, you can't really give Amphibious Man. He's just made noises and wore CGI suit. I mean, he's not done anything. I've not any one of us could have done that role, but especially with you're saying with who was the guy playing Giles?
His name was Richard Jenkins. So Richard Jenkins was also he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, but the winners for the individuals awards was basically all came from 3 billboards outside Epping, Missouri.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, like because I think this is a.
The thing is that not the film that cleaned up everywhere else that year? I'm sure that won fucking everything elsewhere.
Aye, because so that's a movie that just relies on acting performances. Like it is all about the performances of the actors. That movie, which so it does make sense to me. But this one won the big 2. The big 2 are best.
Best film and best director. Yeah.
Aye, it was good. I'm
Any other thoughts from anyone on this movie? Sean, any lasting thoughts?
No, just not for me.
Not for me. It's going to be on Sean's tombstone. Hunter's obviously not done his trivia as usual because he's a lazy bastard. He works extremely hard. But I've not looked through too many, but I did see one that I thought was quite interesting, which says, foreshadowing, during the opening sequence with the credits that the narrator says, and the monster who wanted to destroy it all, just as Michael Shannon's name pops up on the screen. So it's implying that he's a human man that is a real monster and not the amphibian.
There you go. He is an evil bastard, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, before we go to the scores, we should mention that on next week's episode after this one, we'll have a guest on.
taking my thunder here, Daniel. I was going to do that directly after the scores, but we do have. I've got his Instagram up in front of me, so I remember to say it correctly. But we've got John joining us next week. John has an Instagram page called JMCK88 Films, where he also reviews movies. John has selected 2 movies for us to watch, which I'm absolutely buzzing to review. I think this will be fantastic. We have got Interstellar and the Blair Witch Project, which, funnily enough, I don't ever remember watching. So it means I've probably seen it 10 times.
I watched it this morning.
No, but John's been a really good supporter of the podcast for a long time now. Interacts a lot with us on Instagram and does some fantastic posts. I love his stories. See the stories when he's out day to day. Cracks me up. So it'll be a really good episode to get him on, which will be on our next recording.
All I hope is by the time John comes on with us that balls have been thrown on that bowling green. That's all I'm concerned for.
See how on the movie page there's like thousands of other movie pages that we follow and all that. His is the only one that I watch. See in the movie, the Morons Instagram, it's always his that's first in the stories because I always go through them all. Like, genuinely looking forward to actually speaking to the guy. Be funny.
Well, happy days. We look forward to having you on, Job. Let's get into scoring the movies then. Let's start us off well. We're going to start off with Sean.
I'm going to go for a 0.75.
That's a 0.75 more than I thought you were giving it.
Same.
We'll keep that type of momentum going. We'll get Burnsy.
1.25.
You shite bag.
I wasn't
shite bag.
The Braun Alliance have just caved.
It's been broken. I was as scathing as you were, though. You didn't give any good points about the film.
Absolute shit house.
Enjoy the hate.
Sean didn't appreciate the boobs as much as you did, Burnsy. That's the difference between your scores. I'll go next then. I'm going to give this a nice solid 4. Hunter?
Just under 3.75 for me. As I said when I gave a description, it wasn't quite in that 4 to 5 nomination category rating scoring for me. But if you'd asked me before watching it, I'd have been scoring it the same as Sean. So the fact that it's up there after watching, I think, is a good enough achievement for me.
Let's finish us off with Daniel.
I'm joining UK on a 4. But I'm going to add to that I don't think Sean's going to get as much hate for this as you would think. I think this is a very polarising film. I think
I did kind of have a scope with the IMDb scores, and it didn't rank. I was expecting 9s and 10s, and it's only sitting at like 7 points. So it's probably sitting the same as like shite that we've slandered before. So it's fine. No hate for it.
I think a lot of people also hate this, along with Sean. So and I get it. It's a weird film.
Burnsy, what does that do to the overall scoring?
A really generous 2.75.
Don't try and backtrack a little bit now that Sean's called you out for scoring it higher than what you thought. A 2.75. So this puts this bang in line. Sean, you'll absolutely love this. It's the exact same score as Back to the Future.
There's some 2 fantasy films side by side in the table there.
I'm glad I gave it that score now.
I mean, wait now. This one's more realistic. This could actually happen. This is more likely to happen than Back to the Future.
Just a final note, right? You see, we've discussed impressive bobbies like on a variety of our podcasts. Now, we never see the size of Aquaman's on this, but surely the mechanics behind it, I've got to put it up there in regards to impressiveness.
Well, she does say that. She points at being absolutely huge in a scene, so...
Aye, and it also emerges from behind 2 iron curtains or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah. I feel like they should have shown us that. I wanted to see the penis coming out of the slots.
Imagine, it's like...
They could have just got Batista to play it based on what we said about last week's podcast.
It's like
Imagine, can you just imagine someone in a big lizard suit, right, and it's got a wee slot that a dick comes out, and Batista's dick just flops out of it, and they put that in the film? Can you imagine?
I would have scored that high if that happened.
That's also known as the fake of water.
Fucking hell. Well, to rein it back in, guys, for your vulgarness, this is why you need me here on a regular basis. The other movies that sit on a 2.75 are Blood Diamond, Mad Max Fury Road, and Midsummer.
They should all be higher. They're all low because of fucking you lot.
Cool. Well, a 2.75. Right beside, like you said, that other fantasy movie in Back to the Future, which makes me happy. Very happy about that. But that does bring us to the end of all of our seen and unseen movies, guys. We've got through everybody's movies. It's time to start selecting for the next batch. Want to give any hints or tips into any front runners for you so far?
It'll be 2 unseen for me.
2 unseen for Burnsy, which is the new way we go.
I'm Googling if 2 romances available to watch.
Oh, we might. Yeah, I think we do finally need to watch 2 romance. If you don't pick a Hunter, I'll pick it.
Well, that could be my scene one, to be fair.
There you go.
Seen that
I know, Burnsy needs to take it because if I get it and it gets slated, by the time I move into my house below, I will be sleeping in the spare room before we fucking move in. So.
You take one for the team, Burnsy. That still gives me 2.
Guys, I think I might have to finally pull the trigger on Once Upon a Time in America.
Yeah, you do you, man.
The silence that just goes over
Right,
there.
can we schedule that like soon, like over the Easter weekend? We will all have 4
Because you're
days
away
off to get
and
that
you're
watched.
missing episode.
And see, the strangest thing about that one, right, is that Sean's going to very much enjoy it. Yeah. And that's a straight, like, Sean's been against it, but Sean's going to like it.
I'm not even going to watch it.
But
I'm going to join you, Sean. I'm not watching.
There is no danger, in all seriousness. I'm not spending my Easter weekend watching that film.
We've not picked it for Easter weekend. That was just a theory. But have you watched The Irishman?
No.
Never?
Never.
Would you?
Would I watch The Irishman?
Aye.
Don't. It's awful. I watched it the way.
Just that. I'm wanting to know Sean's answer.
No, I've heard it's shite, so that's why I've not watched it. Plus, I hate fucking gas films.
No, because of the length of it.
I don't even know how long it is. How long is it?
Only 3.5 hours.
Aye, it's very long.
There's only about a half-hour difference between The Wolf of Wall Street and Once Upon a Time in America, and he's watched that several times. So,
again, like, I fucking despise mob films. That's more to the point. Plus, 4 hours for a film is just stupid.
It's like asking them to watch The Godfather 1 and 2 back to back and asking for an honest review. It's not going to end well.
Should you give Goodfellas a 5?
There's always an exception to the rule in every aspect.
well, guys, let's just wrap that up there then. That does bring us to the end. Thank you very much for listening. And as Morons do bid you farewell.
Thank God that's over with.
Sorry I don't speak moron as well as you, but let me try.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
It's a moron. That's not against the law.
Gun! You fucking moron!
Dressed up like Batman.
Because he is Batman, you moron.
What are you, a fucking moron?
You moron. Drop dead. Moron.
Whoa!
Up here, you morons.
Stepping morons like yourself.
Me down, you moron! Hey, moron!
Bid you farewell and good luck, morons. Bye.